I thought you might like to see how I make burlap flowers. And you're like, burlap flowers? That's so 2021. Or 45 minutes ago, right? One of the brides that I did several things for wanted burlap roses in her bouquet. And we could not find the color of burlap that she wanted to order the roses from Amazon or whatever. So here's how I made the burlap roses. I had, you know, a yard or so of burlap. Now this burlap I'm working with tonight has a very loose weave. And what I used for her bouquet, the roses in her bouquet, had more of a tight weave. But the concept is still the same. So you just cut a strip and fold it in half. And because burlap's kind of poofy, you'll just have to keep it folded in half as you go. Then I used a floral pick, a wood stick. But these skewers work really well too. And you have to hot glue the wood or whatever you're using as your base onto the burlap first. So if you can tell here, I have it folded in half and this is the end, and I'm going to hot glue it just like that, okay? So let me get this out of the way. And I'm working on a paper plate so that I don't get hot glue on my fabric tabletop. Okay, now I'm working with a high temperature hot glue tonight. Hopefully I do not burn myself because I don't like to burn myself. Okay, so I put the glue in there, and now I just folded this over, and see how it kind of makes a little sloopy doopy cup thing. Pull that down and just kind of blob it into the hot glue. Then keeping this folded in half lengthwise, crimp it and fold it. So see, I crimped it and folded it over on itself. I don't know if this is going to make sense or not. You're kind of working in a zigzag pattern, honestly, because right now the fold is down and you need it to come back up like this and wrap around, and then just whenever you think you're needing some hot glue in there, just kind of blob a little bit in there to help it hold. And then I'm going to fold it down again like this. See if I can get this more in. And I'll see if I can work backwards for you. Now, I'm not perfect at this, so I just do whatever I think looks right. And I'm going to kind of make a crimp. Keeping this folded, you always want that fold at the top. So just bring it back up and pinch it. Now I need some hot glue right in here. You know what? I should have figured out how to have the camera over the top before I started this. I see that now. Maybe on the next one I can. Okay, so you just keep pinching it and wrapping it. And you have to put a fold in it ever so often to get that rosette look. The longer your piece of burlap is, the larger your roses will be. A short piece will make it look like a rosebud, and a longer piece will make it look like a complete rose. As you get toward the end, you can just kind of take the very end and wrap it all the way around, and then I like to kind of turn it under right here so that the edge looks finished. Now I need to put hot glue right in there. Now her bouquet was very, very dense, which means all the flowers were real close together. So the base of the rose didn't show, but I still like to have the base finished somewhat. And so it's fun to use lace or even floral tape if you want a green stem, but just use something. I put some hot glue on there. Now I'm going to zoom this back out. Oops, sorry y'all. What am I doing here? There we go. There we go. Have y'all had a good day? Okay, so now I'm just going to wrap this lace because I want the stem to be finished. And once again, I'm just blobbing some hot glue in there. And then start twisting it at an angle as you go down like this. Now what I've learned is the more of these you make, the better you get. And if you want to, you can even add leaves in here. You can make burlap leaves, just whatever works for you. But these are really fun to make, and so this is something that if you were mass producing it, like say if you needed them for 5 bouquets and you wanted, I don't know, 3 in each bouquet, or maybe like the bridal bouquet I made had a dozen. So you have to see how long it takes you to make it, and then multiply that to make one, and then multiply that out, and you will know how long it will take you to make as many as you need. Now one thing that's really neat, one of my followers on here sent me pictures of stuff that she did for the children in her Sunday school or church, children's church, for the children for Mother's Day. And she told me how long it took her, which I thought was so neat. When something is quick and fast to do, a lot of times you don't realize that it can take you several hours, and she said it took her 5 hours. So that's just one way that you can plan for how long it's going to take. But isn't that neat? So here's one flower. The next flower I'm going to show you how to make. I've already got this cut and started, but I'm going to show you what I did. This will also work with a more dense burlap, but I personally love this real loose weave. So I cut a piece, it's about 12 inches long, and I cut it about 8 inches wide. So across here, I'm not going to take time to do that because that's what I did with this. Okay, then leaving, see how I left the top intact and the bottom intact? Then I pulled all these middle threads straight out, and I'll show you one. Well, that's not the one I wanted to pull. So I'm going to get a crossways, a thread that runs this way, cross, and pull it out. And when it's real loose like this, you do have to be really careful. Okay, now I've laid all of these strings that I pulled loose aside because this is absolute yumminess to make something else. I'll show you that. All right, now we're back to this. Let's fold it in half. I folded it in half where, see, the loop fold is closed at the top. This flower is going to be flat. So you could put it on a wreath, you could put it on, oh, it would be really cute, hot glued onto a gift bag. You could glue it onto a scarf, you could make it into a brooch to put on like a blue jean jacket. So it's a flat one. I'm gonna get rid of that right there. Now, here we go. Can you tell? Please let me know if you can tell what I've done with this. I know since it's loose and floppy, it might be a little bit hard to tell, but my edges that I've kept intact are on one side together, and this loose, loopy stuff is on the other side because, see, I've pulled all those strings out. Now, what I'm going to do is start just rolling this up flat. Rolling it up flat. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's see if I can help you see here. And this one will require more hot glue than the other one did. And I hope I don't burn myself. Can you tell? Whew. Okay, so this part right here that I did not pull the threads from is going to be the center of the flower. So you kind of have to crimp it over on itself. See that? I think this will make sense when I'm finished. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll try to answer your questions. Let's see if I can see any questions. You guys, Facebook can be contrary. I can't always see the questions, and I can't always tell if you're watching or saying something to me, but I go back through and look for questions and try to answer them. Ouch! Okay, so see, I just keep twisting it around and I make a crimp and loop it on itself. Watch. I'll try to, oh my, those hot glue strings go everywhere. Okay, now watch. Let's see if I can do this. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Did you see how I looped that and crimped it? See that crimp right there? Of course, I do want everything to be perfect. Of course. Then I'm going to loop it again and make that little crimp right there and hot glue that down. This would be so pretty on a wreath. In the center, you can put a button, like for Memorial Day coming up. You could put red, white, and blue. You could put a little rhinestone button in the center. You could just cut a piece of fabric and hot glue it in the center. I'm going to cut this. Yeah, it's going to unravel. There we go. Okay, you guys, look at that. Isn't that cute? And I actually meant to bring a button in here to my table, and I forgot. But anyway, I think it would be so pretty with a rhinestone in there, because like a rhinestone button, a shank button that has the stem on the bottom, you just cut that off and hot glue it right there. Because look, I have this bag of little circles. Actually, I think they're napkin rings, and that's what I want to use this for. So I'm going to just hot glue that right on there like that, and then put the napkin through here and lay it on the plate, and it's going to look so elegant and rustic all together, because I'm all into decorating with green, real crisp green plants and ivory flowers, and this is just the perfect rustic touch to add to it. So that's a second flower, and you can use it however you want and put the center however you want. And like I said, I want to put a rhinestone button right there. All right, now let me show you the third flower. My friend Rhonda showed me this, and I love it. She made really big ones, like the size of a dinner plate, and she put them on a bulletin board at her church. It was just gorgeous. But it was really neat to see the flowers as she made them. And let's see here. Okay, so this, like I said, I haven't cut this yet. Obviously, I'm fixing to cut it. Do you say fixing to like I do? Well, I just did. Okay, so this is about almost 24 inches long, and I'm going to cut a strip about 6 inches wide. And you can make these whatever size you want. You can come up with your own way of doing them. I'm just here to give you some ideas, because I know you'll come up with something really fabulous. So now here's my long strip. I'm going to attempt because if I remember correctly, she took a needle and thread, I think, and ran a running stitch along one side. I'm going to try to use the same concept and crimp this into a circle. So I'm just pinching it. It's sort of like a fan fold on one end, and I'm just pinching that fan fold, and I'm going to pinch it all the way around. And Rhonda, if you see this, you need to tell me what you did that I might be doing wrong. Okay, let's see here. I had forgotten about those flowers that she made until I was trying to make this one for this napkin ring. And I thought, I'm going to see if I can remember how she did that. So what I'm going to do, because I have not practiced with this, I don't even know if this will work, y'all. Oh my goodness, and my nose is itching. Okay, so what I'm going to do is gingerly tiptoe with my fingers through here and put a little dibble-dabble of hot glue at every single one of these folds. And I'm going to see what happens here. And I do see the beauty in her using a needle and thread. I'm almost positive she did, but I mean, who wants to sew when you can hot glue, right? It's kind of coming apart down in here, but we'll keep going. The only way you're not going to be successful is if you quit. Right? That applies in life too. Oh my goodness. Sometimes don't you just want to quit? But you will succeed if you don't give up. I've kind of got a floppy doppy mess here, but I bet I get it. I'm not stopping until I get it. Ouch. So I guess as I sit here contemplating, maybe the moral to my story that I needed to hear myself tonight, just don't give up. Just keep going. Just don't give up. I hear my mother's voice a lot. And I didn't realize how many phrases she had. One was, where there's a will, there's a way. And I tell you what, sometimes we have to engage that stubborn tenacity, don't we? I think I need Rhonda to give us a tutorial. I'm not sure this is looking, I know it doesn't look as good as hers did. And the other thing I'm sitting here remembering, and my phone is just driving me crazy because I don't know why it started falling down now. The other thing she did, she bought colored burlap. So she had lavender and yellow. She might have had coral, I don't remember for sure, but she had all those different colors of flowers, and that was really pretty. Once she got it into the circle, and mine's just, mine's a crescent. It's almost a circle. Well, anyway, so she ran the slip stitch and she gathered it into a circle, and then she cut these after she had formed the circle, and hers was about the size of a dinner plate, and her burlap had a more dense weave than this. But hey, you guys, I think this is starting to work. Now that I'm cutting into it, it's making that circle more floppy like a big flower. And like I said, you know what, it doesn't matter if mine don't turn out, as long as I give you the idea. You'll be able to come up with something, I know. Okie dokie. This is not as pretty as Rhonda's. But you know what? If you were putting this on a bulletin board, you could kind of hide your staples and put something pretty right there in the middle and have a burlappy sunflower. I don't know. I might try this again when I've got needle and thread and do a running stitch and see how that turns out. But anyway, that's 3 flowers, 3 ways, this super easy rose, this super easy flat and fluffy flower with the loopy edges. I just love how that loops around when you pull those threads out. And then this experiment. Things get better each time you try. So you guys, if today was hard, if your back's against a wall, if you've if you've been betrayed, if you've been misunderstood, well, God knows our heart. And so just keep making the next best choice. I hope y'all have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.